Right, blessings. We have the beautiful sky as a backdrop. Oh, and a bird. Probably birds will be coming in. And a little commotion in the background, but peace is from within. So is the transformation. And I wanted to share a story about another student who, and in this one, Um, I've been working with this person probably for at least a year and a half on weekly sessions and spiritual coaching, life coaching, you could say. And she had a test that she needed to pass for her industry and actually to get paid. And we had a conversation about it to whether she was going to stay in that industry because in the beginning she expressed that that was one of the things she wanted to be transitioning out of. And I just was asking questions around that. And she decided, no, I want to go ahead and I really, really want to pass this and I want to go in this direction still. And so, okay. And so the first time she failed the test, and I kept on getting that there's something else going on in this test. And it's something where there's something big around this test. And are you sure you really need to take it? Are you, no, I'm doing it. And then she had this, I'm going to hire a tutor. And so she invested in that and she studied and hired a tutor and she failed again. And she only had 3 tries. And then you had to probably wait a year or something like that. And she wouldn't be able to get this money that was being held because she didn't have this part of the license or whatever it was about on that level. And we really had to talk that time on faith and on trust and on knowing and that time I think she studied and studied some more maybe, but she sat on the bench beforehand and something happened inside. And she what happened is she got connected to the universal presence which has all of the answers everywhere all the time. And in my book I share where I had passed a test on I believe it was statistics in that way where all the answers were coming to me. And I was passing a lot of tests that way, but specifically on the one on a math one actually, right? A 3 hour examination on high level, even trigonometry was on the test. And so I had that in my book, and she said, well, I thought that was just sort of like something that can happen for you. And when it happened for her, after sitting on that bench, she went in and she totally passed the test. And it was coming from that other place inside. And so this is also when you're working with a teacher, when you're working with someone, and when I share my stories, or maybe when other teachers tell it, it's not just to say, "Hey, look at me." It's to say, "Wow, look what we can do. Look what we're capable of when we can tap into those places." Now, is it going to serve me to know trigonometry when I'm doing spiritual life coaching? I really don't sense something. If that was something that I was in um, an industry where I had to know that math, that would have been something different. You don't want to just be like, well, if it shows up, it shows up. You want to know what you're doing in your field, but that does not. It's not something that I need to know for what I'm doing in my work, and so that's another consideration to think about. And for her in what she was doing, she also didn't need probably need to know all that high level math to do what she was doing. And so just know that there are forces, means, ways that will support you and who you are and why you're here for the highest good of all. And that's another example of how I am in service to the spiritual journey of others. Jaima.